bit more about that.
Well, one of the keys for, a life of fitness is starting early, I believe, and then it becomes habit, right? So when I started, one of the biggest influences in my life has been sports and hockey. So I really encourage that, and I'll talk a little bit later about my hockey camp and the way that I've devised it to help kids. But you know, getting into hockey at a young age and having that passion and playing sports at school, soccer and whatnot, it just becomes you know, you maintain that throughout your life, it just becomes habit. So that's the biggest thing is I always encourage people, get your kids involved in some type of sport, whether it be hockey or soccer or basketball or whatever it is, because it just teaches you so much.
Right.
For me, yeah, go ahead.
I just I'm living on a First Nations right now in central Saskatchewan, and it's somewhat difficult for Indigenous youth to get into programs.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations for the rec development people or anyone in that capacity out here um, to reach out to the youth?
Well, are you talking right in the community?
Yeah, like within the community, it's like difficult for to get everyone. Do you know what I mean? Just one
Yeah.
second.
Uh,
Alexa, disconnect. Alexa's trying to play me music.
oh yeah.
Yeah, like maybe for instance, like the the programming on my reserve is actually really good. Like they're very involved and very active, but it's always for me, it's location. So I'm on the far end of the reserve and it's difficult to get to places or whatever. Do you have um, ideas or suggestions for even parents that want to motivate their children at home?
Well, like I said, you have to start them young, right? So then when you
Hmm.
start young, then you get that feeling of, you know, you feel good after you work out, you look good, right? And it's good for your health. So really, what is there not to like about it, right? Once you start doing it, so getting kids involved young and supporting them, and like for me, one of the things that when I was playing hockey, I wasn't the best hockey player, right? So I knew that I had to work hard, work out, and be in the best shape if I was going to have a chance of making it.
Hmm.
So I worked out extra hard, and I always was working out, making sure that I was in the best possible shape I could be. And
Right.
then, like I said, once you start, it helps your appearance. You feel good. Why would you want to let that go, right? But it's a matter of getting the kids started, and then keep encouraging them. So one of the things I do um, is when I train them, when I go to a school and I do workouts, I show them a complete body workout with no weights. So there's no excuses, right? So they can train their legs, their upper body, cardio, 45 minutes. They're tired, they're done. So that's one of the things I do for our kids as far as knowing that they don't have access to a gym is I show them that. But it goes for everybody. Everything's online now.
Yeah.
And all the kids have phones, right? So everything, your diet, your workouts, your motivation, you know what? A lot of times, and wake up in the morning, put on a motivational speaker, listen to them for 5 minutes in the morning, right? Help start your day. So there really is no excuse now. People always say, "Oh, I got no time."
Right.
Well, that's
I have
not
a question. I have a question. Um, well, who is a motivational speaker that you listen to in the morning?
the one I follow, and my favorite is Tony Robbins.
Yeah, a lot of people like Tony Robbins. I was listening to a speaker too this morning, and I find that does help set the day. And it was actually a 10-minute guided meditation for positivity. so so that really works. And I do know, Carlin, that you like to take groups of people, Indigenous youth and educators out on the land. So this is kind of where I'm kind of going. If you don't have access to, weights or a gym or an indoor track or even a track, you take them out. And how does that affect their physical fitness? Is it
Well,
beneficial?
more so on the hunting, because we do lots of walking. So there's out in the cold, you're walking in the cold, your body's got to fight to stay warm, and then once we do process the animal or get an animal down, well, then all the kids have to practice or assist with learning to skin the animal, load it up, take it back to the camp. Everybody helps butchering it, packaging it. So yeah, besides what we're teaching them with regards to the hunting and fishing, they also are getting active and they're getting outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, which is, you hear a lot of complaints from a lot of parents, and it's not just the kids' fault. you gotta take stuff away from them, right? But all they do is play their video games. So
Right.
definitely a good break from the video games and cell phones when we're out hunting and fishing. So
Right. So just looking at your fitness, your hockey repertoire and things like that. Like you were in Orlando and Detroit and Wichita, and I got to see you as a youngin in LeBret.
yeah. Okay.
And now you're doing some really cool stuff, right? So who are your main influencers in life, like to aspire to try out these hockey camps and different things like that?
Well, I just, and I talk about this more so in my um, motivational talks. So my dad was obviously a big positive influence for me. And then, I just loved hockey. Once I got into hockey and um, was motivated we had a good team there. We got lots of ice time. We grew up in Warman, but then, there was the racism that happened. And then this is what I tell the kids is, yeah, it's there. We all experience it, but you got to use it as a motivating factor, right? And that's what I did. So I had this drive to prove people wrong. And when you look at most successful people have had have had that drive to, what they got, like almost everybody, they've been put down at one time and they needed to prove to people that they could do it, right? And that was basically me too. So, and I talk about the steps of how to do that.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you get invited to classrooms a lot in different schools. Like, how does an administrator or a principal contact you?
My website, I have a website, carlindnordstrom.com, and then I have a Facebook page, business page, Carlin D. Nordstrom. So both of those. I'm also on Instagram.
Oops. Just give me a second. Okay, so just to reach out to you on your Facebook page and your website, I'm going to actually write that down. Carlin D.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just following up on my last statement there, being wanting to play hockey, wanted to be a professional hockey player, having, like I knew I could never be as good as Wayne Gretzky, obviously, but I loved watching the Oilers in the early '80s, and it was just hockey, 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 hockey.
Yeah. Okay, help me out here. Just adjusting this.
And when I look back at my hockey career and the different teams I played on, as the higher levels that I played, 90% of those guys are having successful lives now. Why is that? Why is that? Because hockey teaches you so much. I shouldn't say hockey. Competitive sports teaches you so much, right? You win, you lose, teamwork, not giving up, right? Drive, training. So that's the key. I mean, if the farther anybody can go in competitive sports, it's going to help them overall in life.
Absolutely. So, Carlin, I
Yeah.
understand that. I was actually scrolling through Facebook and I came across your page, and I actually noticed you getting up early in the mornings, and it's like doing something physical, like a physical fitness and things like that. And then I also see you promoting a summer hockey camp. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. First of all, I think I'm really effective first thing in the morning. I get my best work done from 6:30 till noon, right? And other stuff starts piling up on you. So definitely encourage people to make the most of the day, get up early and get the day started. So what I'm doing is I've been doing hockey schools and hockey camps just like everybody else. And then I
Mhm.
started thinking about what I just described as far as the farther a kid can make it uh, in competitive sports, the better chance they're going to have more success in life. So, and then well, a lot of my friends now are coaching kids, right? They're
Mhm.
kids, and you hear about, and it was just as bad when I played. The parents, right? The parents are crazy and this and that. So I thought, you know what? If Yeah, we got to address the issue with the parents, and if a parent is the reason that a kid doesn't make it to a next level, whether it be the kid's in Pee Wee and he quits in Bantam because his mom and dad are pushing him too hard, well, that's not good because that kid playing that year of Double A Bantam or growing up to midget is going to help them so much more in life after. So I put together what's the first one of its kind. I know in Saskatchewan. I don't think anyone's really doing it in Western Canada. Is maximizing your potential hockey camp, and we're going to be doing on ice sessions and then off ice sessions with the kids and the parents. It's going to be
Cool.
yeah, it's going to be Indigenous ex-professional athlete hockey players like myself. I've got Devin Buffalo, some other guys coming in, and we've been there, we've done it. The parents have to listen to us. We're going to just lay it out from there for them. Here's what works. Here's what will work to maximize your kid's potential. You do this, this definitely will not work. So they need to be told from people like us that have been there about how to manage and parent their kids through hockey.
Right. So we have a question here from Neil Makihiwasquel on
Okay.
Facebook. It says, Carlin, when and where are you having these hockey camps? I have my older son interested.
They're going to be held in Warman. The first one was in Warman. Actually, we were scheduled to have one in North Battleford, but when COVID hit there, we couldn't have it. So this one's going to be in Warman, just outside of Saskatoon, at the Warman Legend Center,
Okay, great.
and potentially we're working on potentially to making the hockey tournament go to.
To coincide with that, that sounds really great. I know a lot of people are itching and just waiting to have some hockey in their lives because there's some really excellent hockey parents out there. I
Oh yeah, I
myself,
know. Well, and everybody missed out on their spring hockey tournaments.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
So
some games due to COVID. I sit back, like I'm not a hockey parent, I'm a cadet parent.
okay.
And so I admire hockey parents that get up in the mornings and 6 in the morning, in a Canadian winter to drive their kid to a hockey practice or to a game in the afternoon or in the evenings when the sun goes down. Yeah, so a lot of did that happen for you?
Oh, I
Or
yeah,
was
I
it
remember. I can remember those days. It was it's an experience. Yeah, I remember getting up and driving to. I was in Warman. We used to have tournaments in Kenniston, and we had to 8 o'clock on the ice. So you do the math on the time to drive from Warman to Kenniston, and for it being on the ice at 8 o'clock, I mean it was blizzarding, treacherous road conditions, and you get there, and then you have to rink all day, and it's just I do remember those days, and it was a lot of fun.
awesome? Okay. So we sort of went through a lot of the questions already. So if
Yeah.
you're listening out there in Facebook land, and if you are streaming on YouTube, if you like this podcast, please like and share my Facebook page. It's called Spring Spirit Nation. I'm new, I'm fresh, I'm Indigenous, I'm Nehio Esquel, and just wanting to get out there and find people that have unique stories. And this is Carlin Nordstrom, and I call this show Team Kisik. And Carlin, how did you come about the whole idea of Team Kisik or the Kisik? Help me out here with the title. I have it written
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
Kisik
yeah. Well,
Sports, Health, and Wellness.
right. I started out when I was 4 years ago now, and I was watching the news and we about the suicide epidemic in Attawapiskat, Ontario,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't happy with my position with the construction safety officer, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do something to try and help these kids, and I planned my exit from the construction industry and dove into it, just doing sports camps the first summer, and then it obviously rolled into hockey that fall, and then it just kind of just snowballed into someone suggested, hey, you should do motivational talks. I'll never forget the first one. Actually, it was at the Wichigan. So it was my first one, and I had, had the pedestal, and I had everything written out, and I was reading from it. I had my pictures, the slideshow, and then my buddy told me, one day you're not even gonna need to read that stuff. And then one day I misplaced my motivational talk. So I had no choice but to go on my own, no paperwork. And then after that, I'm rolling with that. Then I went into obviously I seen the poor eating habits in our communities and lack of education, total lack of education. So I started doing diabetes prevention talks to the kids about the dangers of pop, the dangers of fast food. And because our people don't know, and a lot of the parents don't know, they're giving their kids a pop a day. Well, guess what? That stuff's just like poison, and it leads to a lot of health problems. And the thing about it is it's preventable.
Right.
Right. And I talk about preventable. What does preventable mean? I mean, it doesn't have to happen, but you need the education, right? And anyway, so we started female self-defense course this last season, and then was able to actually, when I was at the barbecue at your school, Gary, your gym teacher at the phys ed teacher at the time,
Oh, it's Aguel. Yes.
yeah, who was you? I can't remember. Kathy.
Yeah.
Kathy. Remember
Yeah.
her?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
so
remember
Kathy
her.
said it put a bug in my ear about this land-based education that the government's pushing and there's funding for. And to make a long story short, I connected with the right people, got the funding, and then now I'm also doing the land-based education. We do trips with taking the kids fishing up to my fishing camp here where I am right now, and teaching them the skills of learning to use the equipment, learning to cast, learning to bring a fish in, learning to clean the fish. Then we start a fire, how to start a fire, cook the fish, all of that. And same with the hunting. We do the same thing with the hunting. And I've put together a pretty good team of professionals. So everything's efficient. Kids learn, have a good time. And we're also implementing some other activities now. We're going to be doing target shooting, which the kids can also take. Yeah, we're going to do practice or get them started with archery and also high velocity pellet guns. And they can take that and they can take that into further competition if they want to, right? So
I know.
Go
If
ahead.
you don't mind me interrupting right now, it just something just popped for me when you said that. I was in the lineup at the store the other day, and following the COVID procedures and things like that. So I was standing outside in the rain, and then I just overheard some young parents talking about their summer, like what are they going to do with their kids in the summer now that the exhibitions are closed and things like that. And I thought, okay, well, do you have like I want you to pitch what it is you're doing, for to possibly motivate other people who are sort of in the same line of work, so to speak, to reach out to the children. Like, there's other things to do besides going to the fair. It's like everyone's like falling over because the exhibitions are closed or whatever, but they can actually give their children or offer them authentic connection to self, just being out there on the land with programs that you're involved in, or the program that you're involved in.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
please, you're more than welcome to do a pitch here.
well, yeah, I mean, it's every kid, almost every kid that we bring up here, right? 80% of them have never fished before. So we get them out on the lake, have a good time catching fish outside in a good, positive social environment. And the next day, I know the answer, right? But I asked all the kids, who wants to go fishing? Well, the hands, they just go into that. I want to go, I want to go. So they love it. And what's not to like, right? So yeah, I do encourage parents to get your kids out, and everybody should be fishing. Especially, it's more relevant because of COVID, right? I mean, it's a natural food source. It's healthy. So there really is no negative in it. Get your kids out to the lake, get them in the water, get them swimming.
Right. So summer is still happening.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, and I am gonna have opportunity, I think, for some kids to come up. I don't have all the details now, but working on things where they can just apply to my company, and then there'll be some funds there for them to send their kids. But I'm still working on the details of that.
I think it would be kind of cool if you thought about creating a chain, a Team Kisik chain.
Well, yeah, and speaking of that, I am launching my own line of t-shirts, motivational t-shirts here. They should be. I plan to launch them at the hockey camps, actually. So I'll be briefing everybody more on social media as that plays out. I'm just waiting for them to arrive, the first ones, and then I'll be promoting them from there. But there is a lot of communities. If COVID hadn't hit, I had ACTC had planned to bring a couple groups of large groups of kids. Dylan, just north of me, was also going to bring a couple groups. So the word is out there with the communities, and I'm just going to keep spreading it. And if we could turn this place into a full-time Indigenous wellness camp, I'm willing to do that.
Okay, sounds really good. Again, this is Sequanachak with Spring Spirit Nation. And on the screen, I say the hockey information is on Carlin's Facebook page under Carlin D. Nordstrom business page.
Yes.
Awesome. So, Carlin, this is my favorite part of this show. I love the whole show, but my favorite part is when I have speakers come up and offer words of inspiration or guidance or motivation to the listeners.
Yeah, for me, wake up with a positive mindset and be grateful for what you have.
Wake up with a positive mindset.
Yes, the most important thing. And I can spot people, because I do this for a living now, right? Well, talk to some person for 30 seconds, you know that they're negative pessimist, right? So you need to be positive, be an optimist, and good things will start happening for you.
Okay. Do you have any advice on how long they have to do it before, so that it just becomes like a natural thing?
Well, it's not easy, but here's this is one of the keys. I'll say it again, and I say it all the time to the kids. You have to surround yourself with good people. You become like the 5 people you surround yourself with. So the old saying, I always say, it's hard to fly like an eagle when you're surrounded by turkeys.
I actually hear a lot of I was listening to a podcast yesterday on exactly that. There's like the people that you're with, and the one I was listening to had to do with their energy and their vibration. So if they're vibrating up here and just living in joy and gratitude, then it's easier for you as well to live within that energy and that space.
It's critical. It's critical for people, kids. Tell them if you get bad feeling about somebody, you got to start phasing them out, because it's never going to end good. Right. So it's critical. If you can surround yourself with good people and positive people, good things will happen. End of story.
End of story. Thank you for being on my show, Spring Spirit Nation. If you're listening out there, I've got some listeners from on the other side of the world.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool. Spring Spirit Nation, Sequanachuk, and I have Carlin Nordstrom and Team Kisik on here today, and I would like to thank you for being a guest.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. Good luck, and I like what you're doing.
Take care.
Thanks.